Hey everybody, Mr. Lopez here with some essay number two, brainstorming tips and ideas, much in the same way I did with essay number one. Um, Another quick video, hopefully to get you started or get you unstuck if you started working and you're stuck on which direction to go. So the essay prompt I know is a little bit unorthodox, where I provide you with an assertion and I ask you to support it. That's the assignment. You have to support the assertion that I give you. You can't disagree completely. And so the prompt looks like this. It says, support the following assertion. People can never truly be free. They will always be imprisoned either by ignorance, by knowledge, or by the tools used to attain knowledge. So essentially what I'm giving you is the first half of your thesis statement. And the way I would think of it, and the way I would encourage you to think of it, is that you can use the language I give you if you want. You can also revise it a little bit, but you can use the ideas that are here and almost make it like a choose your own adventure type of thesis. So I would start with the first part of the essay prompt. People can never truly be free, semicolon. They will always be imprisoned by. And then you have your three options: ignorance, knowledge, the tools used to attain knowledge. And what you're going to do is you're going to choose any one, two, or three of these for your thesis, for your essay topic. So you can choose only ignorance. You can choose ignorance and knowledge. You can choose all three: ignorance, knowledge, and the tools used to attain knowledge. So any single pair or all three to go forward with the essay from here. So let's say, for example, you just chose to write about ignorance. And so your thesis will say something like, people can never truly be free. They will always be imprisoned by, I'm going to underline it, ignorance. And then the second part of the thesis is what's going to distinguish yours from everybody else in class. You're going to want to be specific. People can never truly be free. They will always be imprisoned by ignorance because, and then you fill in the blank. And so you might find yourself saying something like, because ignorance, oops. I just came up with this off the top of my head. It's not a great thesis, but you get the idea. Because ignorance presents false truths rather than reality. So your idea for a thesis is basically going to come in that fill in the blank section. Everything else is already given to you by the prompt. You say people can never truly be free, individuals can never be free, freedom is unattainable, however you choose to phrase it. And then you say they will always be imprisoned by, and you choose any of these three options, and then you fill in the blank. Why? Because blank. And that will be your thesis. And then from here, what you're after essentially is support from our three readings. Just like essay number one, essay number two has no research component, so you shouldn't be getting outside ideas or language, quotations, anything like that from any readings outside of Douglas, Turkle, and Plato. That's where your examples and quotations will come from. You can also, of course, always use your own personal ideas and personal knowledge and personal examples, but no research. That's outside of the scope of the assignment. We're going to have a research component with essay number three, which I use as sort of like the assignment that gets us prepared for the next semester. If you have to take a second semester of English in college, the next semester of English is a research-based class. So no research for this assignment. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. I mean, the genesis of the assignment, I'll get my Frederick Douglass out right here in my English 111 reader. The genesis of the assignment is Frederick Douglass is learning to read and write. If you look at his first paragraph, he says of Mistress Hugh, who at first, if you've read if you've read Douglass, she starts off kind-hearted. She starts to teach Douglass. And then at the behest of her husband, she basically wants nothing more than for Douglass to stop learning how to read. And he says of her in paragraph one, She at first lacked the depravity, which it means she wasn't evil enough. She lacked the depravity indispensable to shutting me up in mental darkness. And that's sort of the quote that gave rise to this assignment for me. He says she wasn't evil enough at first for shutting me up in mental darkness. And that's Douglas's metaphor for learning. Mental darkness, as in like ignorance is a type of thing you can be locked up in. You can be shut up in ignorance. Ignorance as a type of cave or cage or shackles. Ignorance is a type of slavery. It's not the literal slavery that Douglas and his fellow slaves are encountering, but it's similar. It's analogous to physical slavery. When someone keeps you in ignorance, they are locking you up in a way. That's what Douglas is saying by shutting me up in mental darkness. And so what I want y'all to think about, and what I wanted all my students who write about this topic to think about is can we ever truly get out of that mental darkness? And I wanted you to, because I guess the cliche is knowledge is freedom. Knowledge brings you into the light, etc. And that's obvious. So I wanted us to write about and analyze the flip side, the fact that people can never truly be free. We can never truly be liberated from that mental darkness. We'll always be imprisoned either by the mental darkness itself, ignorance, by knowledge, as in knowledge is not always liberating, but it's partially liberating, but also partially something that enslaves us, or by the tools we use to attain knowledge. And here you think about the readings and the speeches and learning the alphabet, all that stuff that Douglas uses to acquire knowledge, and you would think to liberate himself from that mental darkness. But if you read Douglas, you know that as he learns, it begins to torment his soul. He is driven suicidal by what he learns about slavery. So it might liberate him ultimately, but there are times along his path where it's very hard on him. It's not liberating, but the opposite. It's enslaving in a way. Similar to the tools used to acquire knowledge analyzed by Terkel, word processing software, PowerPoint, social media, gaming, using avatars to develop or not develop a sense of self. Our tools nowadays, are technological. I'm making a video right now, an instructional video for you all. And so I would sort of draw a through line, a comparison between all three readings. The technology Terkel analyzes and that we use as something that liberates us potentially, but also hinders our freedom. The tools for learning that Douglas encounters, other people, the alphabet, language, books, speeches, and Plato, that rough ascent out of the cave. It is a rough ascent. You have to be dragged out of the cave into the light, and looking at the sun directly immediately pains the person who is out of the cave of ignorance. Basically, all three readings deal with this idea that learning is difficult. It may liberate you somehow, but it also at the same time enslaves us, or makes a situation where we feel pain and discomfort. So that's what you're after. A thesis that begins with the first part of the essay prompt in some form or fashion. Choose A, B, and or C for your sort of pick your own adventure for the rest of the essay, and then fill in the blank because, and let's say you choose all three, because ignorance blanks, knowledge blanks, and the tools used to attain knowledge blank. So if you chose all three, A, B, and C, your thesis would look something like this. People can never truly be free. They will always be imprisoned by ignorance, knowledge, and the tools used to attain knowledge. Because ignorance, how does it hinder us? Knowledge, how does it hinder us and why? And the tools used to attain knowledge, how does it keep us from being free and why? And then, of course, these are the ideas that will give rise to body paragraphs later on in your essay. Within your body paragraphs, just as you would do with essay number 1 and just like you will do with essay number 3, you should support your thesis with claims, arguments, and examples and ideas. This is where you'll get quotations from the readings and or your own experience. Just remember, just as this essay number 1 and with essay number 3 in the future, no first person for major essays for this class. So no I, me, mine, us, etc. If you are choosing a first person example from your own life, couch it in the third person. So he, she, they, that sort of thing. Otherwise, most people, I'll give you, some background on how this has gone in the past. Most people find the second essay a little bit easier. It has to be 4+ pages, so it's a page longer at minimum than essay number 1. But the 3 readings are longer. You have an extra reading. You had 3 readings for essay number 1, so you have much longer readings. You have more places from which to grab examples and quotations. And a lot of people like this idea of being forced to support something as opposed to having to generate their own thesis from scratch. We'll get back to that with essay number 3. As always, y'all, if I can help, let me know. Best of luck, and have fun. I think it'll be fun. Have a good time.